If you ever wonder what it's like to step into a place that feels half frontier outpost and half adventurer's dream base, then put Talkeetna, Alaska on your list. Tucked where wild rivers meet big sky and snow-tipped peaks rise in the distance. This little town is full of surprises. Whether you come for the wilderness or the quirky local culture, you'll leave feeling like you've stepped into the real Alaska. Here are 20 amazing things to do in Talkeetna, paired with unique history and local flavor that most guides overlook. 1. Walk through the Talkeetna Historic District. This compact downtown area is listed on the National Register of Historic Places. Many buildings date from the early 1900s when Talkeetna was a vital rail and mining stop. As you stroll down Main Street, you'll find log roadhouses, old mercantile shops, and structures that once served trappers and railroad workers building the Alaska Railroad through the wilderness. 2. Visit the Talkeetna Historical Society Museum. Set inside the old schoolhouse from the 1930s, this museum preserves the heart of Talkeetna's story, from the Denali people who first lived here to the mountaineers who turned the town into a base camp for Denali expeditions. The large topographic model of Denali inside gives visitors a real sense of the mountain's scale. 3. Stay or dine in a historic roadhouse. The Talkeetna Roadhouse, built around 1914, still feeds hungry travelers with the same homestyle recipes it's used for over a century. It once served miners, rail workers, and bush pilots who'd stop in for a hot meal and a warm bed. Inside, the creaky floors and historic photos tell stories of Talkeetna's rugged past. 4. Trace the town's railroad heritage. The Alaska Railroad was the heartbeat of early Talkeetna. The town sprang up as a construction camp and later became a supply point for the interior. You can still see old depots and remnants of the original rail line, reminders of how this remote town helped connect Alaska to the rest of the country. 5. See the Talkeetna Airstrip. Constructed in 1940, this grass airstrip once served as a lifeline for supplies and mail. Before Alaska's modern highway system, bush planes were the only way to reach many towns, and Talkeetna was one of the most important bases for those daring pilots. 6. Explore the river confluences. Talkeetna sits where the Susitna, Chulitna, and Talkeetna rivers meet. The rivers have always shaped local life, first as transport routes for indigenous tribes and later for trappers and explorers. Today, the riverfront park where Main Street ends gives panoramic views of the Alaska Range, including Denali on clear days. 7. Take a jet boat or raft trip. The river tours aren't just scenic, they're windows into history. Guides often point out remnants of old homesteads, ancient glacial paths, and native encampments that show how people once lived off this powerful landscape. The sound of rushing water and the distant peaks make it unforgettable. 8. Try flight seeing or a glacier landing. Talkeetna is known as the gateway to Denali, and its airfields are where most mountaineers begin their journey. A flight seeing tour gives you a bird's-eye view of glaciers and peaks that once took explorers weeks to reach. It's one of the most thrilling ways to see Alaska's raw grandeur. 9. Hike the Talkeetna Lakes Trail. Just outside town, Talkeetna Lakes Park offers peaceful trails looping through spruce forests and quiet waters. Early trappers and native hunters once followed these same routes while tracking moose or gathering food. Today, it's an easy and beautiful introduction to Alaska's wilderness. 10. Join a local festival. Talkeetna's festivals are full of personality, from the quirky Wilderness Woman Contest to the Winter Bachelor Auction that has raised funds for decades. These events celebrate self-reliance, humor, and a close-knit spirit that defines small-town Alaska. 11. Visit a birch syrup farm. Local producers harvest birch sap each spring, turning it into syrup and candies through traditional methods. These modern artisans carry forward a centuries-old practice once used by Alaska's indigenous people to sweeten and preserve food in the wilderness. 12. Eat like a local. Grab a hearty breakfast or fresh salmon dinner in one of Talkeetna's long-standing cafes or pubs. Many of them still use recipes passed down from early settlers. The local roadhouse pancakes, for instance, are made with a sourdough starter that's been bubbling since the early 1900s. 13. Step inside a trapper cabin. Around town, several preserved trapper cabins showcase how early pioneers lived. Small, single-room log shelters with handmade tools, stoves, and animal pelts. They're humble but fascinating glimpses into Alaska's early frontier life. 14. Capture the beauty of the Alaska Range. The surrounding mountains and glaciers tell a story millions of years old. Early geologists and explorers studied these formations to understand how ice shaped Alaska's dramatic terrain. Today, photographers come for the same reason, to capture nature's raw artistry. 15. Shop on Main Street. Main Street remains the heartbeat of Talkeetna. Its wood-frame storefronts once served miners and bush pilots. Now they house local galleries, outfitters, and bakeries. The architecture still carries that rustic, pioneer charm that has changed little over the decades. 16. Stay in a rustic cabin or lodge. Many local cabins still bear the marks of hand-hewn construction and early craftsmanship. Spending the night in one connects you to Talkeetna's early settlers who braved long winters and isolation only with stoves and determination. 17. Enjoy a riverside picnic, pack a lunch, and sit by the water where the rivers meet. You might spot bald eagles gliding overhead or hear the faint hum of a float plane landing in the distance. It's one of those simple, peaceful Talkeetna moments that remind you why people fall in love with Alaska. 18. Learn about bush pilots. Aviation has been central to life in Talkeetna for over 80 years. Local pilots helped supply remote villages, rescue stranded climbers, and chart unknown terrain. Listening to their stories or watching the small planes take off is a living lesson in Alaska's adventurous spirit. 19. Cross the old railroad bridge. The railroad bridge outside town has stood for nearly a century. Crossing it offers not just a sweeping view of the river, but a tangible connection to the era when trains were Alaska's only link to the wider world. 20. Watch the northern lights. In winter, Talkeetna slows down, snow muffles the streets, and the night sky comes alive with the aurora borealis. Locals have watched these lights for generations, calling them nature's greatest show. Seeing them dance over the frozen landscape is a memory that stays with you forever. Final thoughts. Talkeetna isn't a polished resort town. It's a living story of adventure, endurance, and community. Its wooden buildings, rivers, and mountain views all whisper pieces of Alaska's history. Whether you come for flight seeing, fishing, or simply to breathe in the crisp northern air, Talkeetna offers the kind of authentic charm that's becoming rare. Visit thetouristcompass.com for more amazing things to do in charming small towns and breathtaking destinations like Talkeetna.